We're dinks. We go to Trader Joe's and workout classes on the weekends.
We're dinks. We get into snobby hobbies like skiing and golfing.
We're dinks. We can go to Florida on a whim.
We're dinks. We're already planning our European vacation next year.
Dinks. We get a full 8 hours of sleep and sometimes more.
We're dinks. We get desserts and appetizers at restaurants.
We're dinks. We can play with other kids and give them back.
We're dinks. We still do it 3 times a week.
We're dinks. We spend our discretionary income on $8 lattes.
We're dinks. We max out our 401ks, Roth IRAs, and HSAs.
We're dinks. We don't use our kids or dog as an excuse to leave a party. We just leave.
And I'm sorry that you had to listen to that. Welcome back to the Real Femme Sapien YouTube channel, where I give cultural commentary, and I'm still gonna do it. I know I wasn't here, but yeah, this is probably the hardest, but also the best year of my life. So if you like my content, make sure you give it a big thumbs up, subscribe down below, and hit the notification bell. I think YouTube is still doing that, so we should do that. So today I'm going to be reacting to DINKs. It was a trending phenomenon on TikTok where conservatives, in my opinion, overreacted, as they typically do, because I'm telling you, I don't know what's going on with the right now, but they're headed on a path of loserdom because they can't get things done. Like, they're just not a very organized group. Like, I'm conservative. I love being conservative. It's not like I like it. It's who I am. This is real. This is me. I'm exactly where I'm supposed to be. And I'm sorry that you had to listen to that. Moving on, quick explanation as to where I have been. I have been living my own life, minding my own business, because I don't know if this is true for anybody else, but when I became a parent, I just got this overwhelming sense that everyone is full of it. I genuinely don't want to talk to half of the people that I used to talk to, half of the content that I used to watch. I don't want to look at anymore. And it's just because it's a very different life when you have something to die for. All of the commentary, all of the trends, all of the money, all of the clout, the attention, it just seems like it's pointless to a degree because it doesn't go with you to the grave. And so I have a duty and an obligation, and I have a desire to enjoy every moment that I can with my family with this short time that I have on this earth. And so, yeah, content's been kind of bland. You know, I had a lot of reality checks when I became a mom. Being a mother obviously changes women. I know it changes your brain too. However, that's kind of where I've been at. And then I had some unexpected challenges that occurred around the same time that I became a mother, which at some point in time, I'm sure I'll be happy to disclose that. But for now, I don't want to. I don't feel like it. Okay, let's react to DINKs, dual income, no kids, because apparently these people are the scourge of the earth.
We're dinks. We're gonna get asked daily when we plan on having kids.
We're dinks. Of course we're going to go out to eat every night after work.
We're dinks. We don't have to ask our family for financial help or to watch our kid when we want to go out.
We're dinks. We're going to go to Costco and buy all the snacks in bulk that we want.
We're dinks. We have disposable income to spend on whatever we would like and don't have to spend on a kid.
We're dinks. I'm going to go to every football game and play 18 holes whenever I want.
We're dinks. We're going to get asked to every single family event what we're doing with our life.
Well, I just don't know what was going on with conservative media when they reacted to this terrible, horrible, awful trend. But newsflash, most married couples at one point or another are dinks. Most women work, most wives work. Before you have children, typically you're going to be in the workforce as a woman unless you decide to be a homemaker, stay-at-home wife, which not every woman decides to do. But even in that case, there are a lot of women who enjoy professionalism. So I don't know how that went over people's heads. Now, I will say that every single point that they made was consumerist, because a lot of that stuff I can do, or myself as a parent, as a mom, I don't really have a desire to. Like, I could focus on date nights and, I just have to get away from this kid. But if your relationship is fine as is, without the whole date night situation, without the childcare situation, then that works. I know friends that they don't go on date nights. They just don't do it. They love each other immensely. They're happy. It's a man and a woman. They've got 2 kids. They've been married over 10 years. But she just doesn't want somebody else to watch your kids. So it's not like anybody's stopping them or holding them back. All right, we're going to check out the next clip of DINKs because, again, scourge of the earth. These people, the nerve of these people to not have any babies.
We're dinks. We go to Trader Joe's and workout classes on the weekends.
We're dinks. We get into snobby hobbies like skiing and golfing.
We're dinks. We can go to Florida on a whim.
We're dinks. We're already planning our European vacation next year.
Dinks. We get a full 8 hours of sleep and sometimes more.
We're dinks. We get desserts and appetizers at restaurants.
We're dinks. We can play with other kids and give them back.
We're dinks. We still do it 3 times a week.
We're dinks. We spend our discretionary income on $8 lattes.
We're dinks. We max out our 401ks, Roth IRAs, and HSAs.
We're dinks. We don't use our kids or dog as an excuse to leave a party. We just leave.
Again, I think these couples are just young and having a harmless fun. I do want to say that something I see in there when it comes to sleeplessness, when you become a mom or you become a parent, I think you just become okay with it. It can be really debilitating. I'm not going to lie. I am very fortunate in the fact that I am a stay-at-home mom and no crisis has occurred to the effect that I have to work full-time, because it happens. It does happen to some women. I will say you can always downsize if you really want to and find an affordable way to stay home, even in a time of inflation. Like, it's true. It's just you would have to lower your quality of living, and is every woman, family willing to do that? Maybe not. But a big reason why I see a lot of women are not sleeping as moms is because they're not nursing, they're not breastfeeding. And I just think if you co-sleep safely and you nurse, it's not that hard. You just roll on your side. Your baby also rolls on their side. You do the Safe Sleep 7. I'm going to link an Instagram at co-sleepy. It's very informative. You do the Safe Sleep 7, you nurse in bed, and you get a lot of sleep that way. Now, granted, there's going to be nights where you won't get that amount of sleep because baby's teeth, they get sick, you name it, it happens. I think a lot of women are not getting the rest they need because they're making these decisions to feed their babies bottles. And why? You don't have to formula feed your kid. You know what I mean? If you want my free PDF handout, it's going to be linked in the description down below as well. It is free $99, and it's 10 ways breast milk outperforms formula, because there's this discussion where women don't want to be told, how can you tell me that breast is best? What do you mean fed is best? Yes. Okay. Whatever. Fine. I was formula fed. I'm going to come out with another fact sheet that discusses different formulas later. Anyway, I just wanted to address that. All right. The final piece de resistance. Now, as for the dual income, no kids, it's very clear that both of the parties are working. And a lot of times my platform has been misinterpreted as saying that women should under no circumstances work. You shouldn't work. I don't think that's true. I think if a woman works, it's a discussion between her and her husband only. And that is because he could think that it's a better idea for you to work. And what? You're supposed to tell him, no, your perspective is wrong. This man who loves you probably notices that you're a better wife and mom if you're working full-time, part-time, or staying home. And hopefully he's confident enough to bring that to your attention, because I've never seen a loving husband ask his wife to quit a job that was pouring into her spiritually. 9 times out of 10, women have miserable jobs. They just don't want to admit it, and they're working for next to nothing, especially if you're paying somebody for childcare. So we have an example of a woman that I think should work. I don't think she has kids. I believe that she stays home and is married. I don't know. She might not be. She just could be the nosiest neighbor of all time. I haven't looked at her TikTok that thoroughly, but not every woman has the discipline to handle staying home. Idle hands are the devil's playground, okay? So if you're to stay home, you better find a way to fill your day. This woman has not found a way to fill her day. Let's dive in.
What kind of neighborhood are you guys living in? Because when me and my husband purchased this home 2 years ago, that I'm very lucky and I'm very grateful that we were able to buy a house, I thought in my delusional state that the neighborhood we would purchase our first home in would be so good. Everyone would open their arms to us in a warm hug of friendship, okay? People would wave to us. There would be no problems. That was my fault for believing that, because that's not real. We got Kevin on the corner, who's a self-proclaimed mechanic, no training, who sells car parts, which I know he legally does not obtain, and he just leaves buckets of neon green goo out all the time. He also has about 1 million cars, 3 RVs, and a bunch of kids running around, which is fine. I've had to talk to Kevin multiple times about keeping his shit together, okay? And he's...
Thank God that we have Mel, who is here to tell Kevin what to do with his property and his life. I can't imagine why nobody would knock on this door and give this woman brownies. I can't imagine how a woman who is willing to tell the world the illegal or suspected illegal activities of her neighbor. I can't imagine why people wouldn't be more warm and welcoming. Who knows? It's a mystery.
He's good. He works with me, but he's also the worst. He's a little bit of a drug problem, so sometimes at 3 a.m, he is sawing shit in the backyard. I don't love that, Kevin. Okay, we got homegirl over here who is obsessed with my husband. She's about 55, retired welder.
I want to go back to Kevin welding or whatever, sawing in the middle of the night. Noise machines exist. You know what I mean? You know what I'm saying? They're a thing. I use one all the time.
She has nothing to do but wait for my husband to get home. She runs out to greet him. She looks at me with death in her eyes. She wants to kill me. And I would try it. I could take her. I really think I could. Okay. And then we have a family that lives over here, which they are nice. However, they literally have a garage sale every Saturday. Every Saturday they're having a garage sale. And I love a side hustle, I do. But I know if I leave my house, if I leave my spot, if I try to come back within at least like 3 hours, the spot will be gone. Someone is taking it because they're going to this garage sale. I don't know how much they have to sell. It's an endless supply. It's always new things. And then we have...
Okay, to be fair, I mean, that's kind of annoying, but it sounds like she doesn't have a driveway or a garage. So like that's entirely possible. Solution, get a new house eventually in 10 years, 5 years, I don't know.
2 streets up. When we first moved in, I was walking my dogs on the, on the sidewalk on their leashes, and their dog ran out, attacked me and my dogs. And that was really scary. And like things happened, except the lady ignored it. She got her dog, didn't say sorry, didn't say like, are you okay? And every time she sees me, she like literally just leaves. Like she doesn't act like she knows me. Traumatizing. Anyways.
Does she want to know you? Like, I'm not trying to be mean. I don't want to know this lady. Oh.
With that being said, it's not all bad because I do have Jim. Let me tell you about Jim. Jim is about 65, retired, okay? And he does about 3 walks a day around the neighborhood just to make sure everything's going well, okay? And when I first started going on my hot girl walks, we would run into each other and we over time developed a friendship. Okay, now he brings treats for my dogs. He's always on the phone, and every time he sees me, he goes, hey, my friend's here, I gotta hang up. And he hangs up, and we have a conversation, and it's so good. And the best thing about him is he is the town gossip. He knows what's going on, when it's going on, and where it's going on.
Oh, I mean, sounds like a friendship made in heaven. Look at that. Look at that. Peanut butter and jelly.
I love Jim, okay? And I thought I'd give you the tea for today that Jim told me. So Jim has grown up in this neighborhood his whole life. His parents bought a house literally 3 houses down from me. And he's just kind of moved around the neighborhood a little bit. He loves it here. I'm not sure why, but he does, okay? And he was telling me that his neighbor, the pastor, he's a pastor, has a little problem, okay? And the problem is a lot of people have been abandoning cars in our neighborhood, like taking the parts off of them and abandoning them there. Is it Kevin, my neighbor? It could be. I'm not sure, but like, I'm not going to say that. And so the past.
Just word to the wise. Like, let's say your neighbor's a criminal. Like, maybe don't put them on blast on TikTok because it could put your life in danger. What do I know?
Pastor, being who he is, has called the police multiple times, and the city doesn't care. This is like such a big problem in my neighborhood that the car will sit there for years, okay? And it's taking a spot where the pastor parks, okay? So Jim said, I'm taking it into my own hands, and this is what Jim did. And if any of you guys rat on Jim, I will find you and I'll take you down. Okay.
You're ratting on Jim. It's you. Take yourself down. Take yourself on like 50 more hawker walks. Oh.
Jim figured out how to get into the car, and he figured out how to put it into neutral. And Jim is thinking about rolling it into the middle of the street until the town does something about it. And he says he will continue to do that if they just move it back into the same place. The pastor knows what's going on, and I think he said God's cool with it. So that's what Jim's doing. Jim's taking care of the neighborhood. So I might not have a good core community, but I have Jim, and that's all I need. I really think that's all I need.
You need a couple of things: discipline, social couth, education on OPSEC, minding your own business. Like, this lady just needs a lot of things. So do I think all wives should work? No. To the wives that do work, that don't have children, the DINK situation, it's just an era, and conservatives overreacting to this DINK trend. It's not really going to be beneficial, because what are conservatives doing? What is the right doing to encourage other people to have kids? You know, most of these commentators they don't make marriage or motherhood look good to begin with. They seem like they have a lot of free time to complain about silly things, or they react to silly things. And I get it, the algorithm is what it is, but you know what will probably convince people to have children is if you talk to them realistically. So I became a mom around the late spring of this year, and there's been changes in my life. So I love running, and I couldn't run in my second trimester because I'm already compromised from the waist down. I have an old injury, and it makes me fall a lot. And the whole injury situation isn't that bad when I'm not pregnant, because when you're pregnant, you have a hormone called relaxin, and it loosens your joints so that your pelvis can be loose for childbirth. So in my second trimester, I ran and I fell and I had to stop running. I don't think I got to run long distance-ish until my baby was 5 months old, and I was able to do a quarter marathon. So it's only 6.5 miles. If you're watching, you probably think that's a lot. With running people, they're crazy, and for them, 16 to 18 miles, that's a lot, and that's something that you do on the weekends for fun, okay? I would give it all up. If I had to choose, if God came down and said, Aly, you have to pick between not the ability to run, but the ability to walk and knowing and meeting your baby, what would you pick? I would pick meeting my baby. It's such an incredible experience, and she's my favorite person outside of my husband, obviously. But you move toward your child in a way that you don't move toward your spouse or your husband. And I can't begin to describe it to you, but I would give it all up, anything, to just have met her and known her and been able to be her mom for as long as God would give her to me. I think talking to people like they're human beings about the joys of being a parent, that might be a way to convince them, instead of overreacting to some young, childless, married couples, okay, who are most likely going to have children at some point in time in their marriage. They're just in that phase, that beautiful phase where you get to go on date nights whenever you want, hang out whenever you want, sleep in whenever you want, clean whenever you want. They're in that phase. That's a normal part in progression of marriage. I would love to see these two clips that we reacted to, these dinks. I would love to see where they're at in a couple of years, because could be 2 or 3 kids. So that's all I have to say. If you like this content, make sure you give a big thumbs up, subscribe down below, hit the notification bell, and before you go, if you want to support the platform, make sure you head over to my Substack. YouTube takes a huge cut of my cash, moolah, baby. And Substack is the platform that takes the smallest cut out of all the platforms that I have on social media. It's the best one. It's also a place where I can speak more candidly. So if you have any questions or you want to sponsor a video, that's the way to do it. I wouldn't do it through YouTube or anything like that. And yes, I will see you in the next video. Bye.